Greetings, everyone. I'm right.
I'm right. Why?
See, I already know I'm right. I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
And you're listening to I'm Right.
I'm right. Ooh, boy. We're off to a rough start.
That's not rough. I just already decided I'm right. But before we get to that, what's new with you, sweetheart?
Well, this may not sound very exciting to our listeners, but I got a new computer.
That is exciting.
I have a new computer.
I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too, because this makes it much easier for us to do our podcast.
Yes.
And faster.
Yes. A lot faster.
Which is good. So, I'm happy.
Yay.
It doesn't take much to make me happy.
What kind of voice is that?
I'm happy.
What voice is that?
That's my happy voice.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy.
Okay, well, I think we should get to this week's episode. This week, we are talking about when you repeat the same mistakes. It's part of an episode. No, I'm so off today. It's part of a segment that we call Stand by Your Stance. Maybe you should take this over.
Maybe this is our blooper episode. Because, we don't have a lot of bloopers. We honestly, we don't.
We really don't.
It's very rare that we have to cut something out. Very, very rare. So this could be our bloopers episode.
So you're telling me you're going to leave all this in?
Yes, I'm absolutely leaving all of this in.
It was that wine I had last night. Maybe that's it.
So again, what is our topic?
When you repeat your mistakes.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a good segue, because you keep repeating your mistakes on this podcast.
See, I was getting into character.
How about that?
I was embracing the topic.
That is a great segue. Okay. Repeating mistakes. What do we mean by when you repeat your mistakes? What type of mistakes are we talking about?
Well, in relationships, we have said before, it's sometimes some of us have our picker is off. But what we really mean is we're repeating the same things.
Making the same mistakes.
Making the same mistakes with the
again.
kind of people we have a relationship with, want to have a relationship with.
And so is this just about relationships, or can it be...
That is the premise of our podcast.
I know, but it can be in your job situation.
Oh, sure.
At your work.
Yes, I've done that too. I've made that mistake. And the mistake I've made in the workplace is that I chose many years ago to be a journalist. But after that first job that I actively pursued, for the most of the rest of my journalism career, I didn't have to look for a job because people called me and asked me, or even at the places I already worked at, I'd come in and my role has completely changed because they've decided that that's what they want for me. But the mistake I made was just letting other people dictate what I did in life. So I fulfilled their vision, as opposed to looking at what mine was. And then when I finally realized, you know what? I'm not happy. Why aren't I happy? Oh, because I'm doing what everybody else wants me to do, instead of really thinking what would make me happy in a professional role.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I stopped.
Well, that's good. Now, these things that we do as people,
we're people.
Yes. And I'm sure it's not just me, but I'm sure probably most of our audience have made mistakes in their life.
Well, that's human.
But
humans make mistakes.
Yes, humans make mistakes, and the key is to learn from our mistakes.
Because if you keep repeating them, then you haven't learned.
Yeah. So how do we how does a person break that cycle of making, like, picking? I was very good at picking the wrong women, as we talking about the picker, but then I was also a mistake. I thought, well, I see it as a mistake. Other people may not, but I always put money as my priority, which was a mistake. My family also is on the top of the priority list, but right behind that was money.
You were driven by money.
Driven by
and
money.
We do need money.
Yes, but it was an error. I can look back now and say, oh, that was wrong. My thought process was wrong on how to approach money and making money, because I was a workaholic.
So for those out there who are workaholics and are driven by money, what did you change to?
I changed to a person who is no longer driven by money.
But what were you driven by instead?
Love.
Love. Love of what you do?
Yeah, I changed to be driven towards really love for you, love for my family, grandkids, people in my life. To realize that, money isn't, and I know this is like a cliche, money isn't everything, but money,
that is a cliche.
Yes. but money didn't need to be the most important thing in my life, because I missed out on a lot.
But now professionally, what drives you?
Professionally?
Yes.
Well, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question.
You were just talking about,
because it's what drives me now, but we're talking about mistakes. We're talking about mistakes.
Yeah,
so I don't make that mistake anymore of being driven by money.
I
so
understand
you want to
that.
know what? I know you're asking me the same question over and over again.
I am, because I haven't gotten the answer.
I do know you're doing that. Okay.
I am asking the question in different ways because you still haven't answered the question.
Well, Jill, you know what drives me.
Tell the listeners.
You drive me.
Oh my gosh.
You drive me.
Why are you avoiding the question?
You drive me.
You are avoiding the question.
You drive me.
For example, I have never, all the jobs I've chosen or that chose me, it wasn't, my reason for doing it was never money, even though in the past I could get paid pretty well for the things I did. Apparently not anymore. But I have always been driven by what makes me happy professionally. If I don't like what I do, then you're not going to keep me there. If I accept it at all.
Okay. But that's that what drives me. I guess the reason I'm having a problem answering that question, because I don't see myself as being driven by something. Does that make sense? Like, for instance, I could be driven to succeed. Okay, that's a drive to succeed. Well, that's a given for me. It's not a drive. I'm always want to succeed at what I do. So that's not a drive.
I'll rephrase.
Yes,
what
rephrase,
makes
former journalist.
What would make you accept a job over another?
That's what. Again,
what's your definition of success now?
Well, my definition of success is succeeding at what I love to do. So succeeding at this podcast, that's important. To succeed in getting my message out, through my poetry, that's if you want to call it a drive, that's a drive. If you want to call it that.
I'm just asking what's your definition of success? How do you measure success?
My success is if I'm happy. Oh, is that what
And
you were
there's
looking
the
for?
answer. Yes.
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 As long as I'm happy, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. So
But
it's not driven by money or success. Just as long as I'm happy. Now maybe there will be some success within that, but that's not as important to me as if I'm happy.
okay.
Yeah. But
So
that
how
just
does one stop
go ahead.
how does one stop making those same mistakes?
Well, we know, the listeners know, don't they remember 2020, the year of doing something different? You have to do something different.
Right.
Yeah, right. Right. So, yes, a person does have to do something different to get to where they want to be.
But what if they're comfortable where they already are? They're just not happy.
Then they don't
And
want to, then
and
they
they
don't
don't
want to do anything different.
okay.
It's all up to them. People, people get caught in several things. People, and the one I hate to see most of all is people that get caught in their misery
Yes.
when they begin to embrace the situations they're in.
Yes.
It's an awful thing to me.
To me it's a matter of also either forgetting that you have the power to change that or giving that power to someone else.
Yeah.
Often in relationships, if you keep making the same mistake with the people you bring into your life,
Mm-hmm.
you have the power to change that. But often, for whatever reason, we as humans often give that power to someone else and have them dictate what we do or don't do. And why is that?
That's a good question. That's a very good question, and I think it's different for so many people. The reason they do that same thing over and over again, it's not good for them. It could be issues from childhood.
Yes, it might be all they know. They don't know there's something else out there. They don't see that. They've never seen that. So they don't know.
That is correct, and I'm glad you brought that up. But there was a movie that we watched recently that was on Netflix. What's the name of that movie where the couple just fought all night?
Oh, what was the name of it? It had Zendaya in it and John Washington Jr., Denzel's son.
I've forgotten the name of it.
I have forgotten too.
But listeners, anyway, you all may be familiar with it. But this, he was
it was whatever their characters' names were. That was the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, Marie and was it Marie and?
I forgot.
I think it was Marie and I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Name. But I bring that up because they fought the whole movie.
The entire movie.
It goes over one night. The movie takes place in over one night, but and
it's just the two of them.
Just
the whole
two
movie.
Of them. Yes, but they fought all night. They fought, then they made up, then they fought, then they made up, then they fought, then they made up, and I didn't really care for the movie because it was just extremely,
it was difficult to watch.
And yeah, because of all the things that it depicted.
Yes.
But what was more interesting, I was listening to NPR. That's a plug. I was listening to NPR and they had listeners call in to talk about that movie. And most of the callers felt the same as I did. It depicted something that we don't want to perpetuate.
Right.
But there were other callers that called in and they said, well, that's how it was in my household when I was growing up. I loved the movie because they grew up in severe dysfunction and they still believe that severe dysfunction is a way to show love. You see?
Right.
They praised the movie because the movie depicted their parents. So why getting
And
back
they
to
believe their parents loved each
loved
other.
each other and
Yes.
and may have,
Right.
but that gets to the question you had: why do people keep making the same mistakes over
Right.
and over again?
Because with that movie, I kept talking to the screen like, Lee, run to her,
right,
you know,
right.
because he was verbally abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew all of her buttons to push, and he pushed them.
Verbally and mentally. I
Yes,
mean, this was
yes.
deep mental dysfunction.
Yes.
So it wasn't just words being said. It's what the words were.
Right. And he definitely pushed her buttons.
Right. So, you know, and situations like that can cause, if you grow up in something like that, can cause you to make the same types of mistakes. It's the same. It's not much different than, you know, we have several people that still do not believe you are as kind as you are.
This is really who I am. I'm not pretending.
They truly do
it
not
really takes a
believe
lot
it.
for me to get mad or to be mean. Although I have to say that one of the reasons why I left journalism is because it did change me into this very short-tempered,
Mm-hmm.
mad person all the time. I was mad all the time. But I realized that that's what was happening. And when I left, I became me again. Because that's not who I was. So sometimes when you're around things that is a mistake,
yeah,
or people, you know, that are in your circle, you know, people can change you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we can take me, for instance. You know, I've already said that I grew up in a severely dysfunctional household, which caused some dysfunction in me. So for many years, I had anger management issues and all of that. I didn't know anything else. It took a long time to, you know, get into myself to be able to overcome the way I grew up. So, you know, that's why I still say it's a loaded question. It's not always easy for people to stop making the same mistakes.
Oh, it's not easy at all.
It's not.
Again. It's not. It's not easy at all. It's that's why many times things like that are done each generation. You know? It's like generation after generation.
Exactly. Yeah. It just ends up repeating itself.
Exactly.
So, you know, and it's awful to say, but, you know, people become their parents.
Right.
You know, or what they grew up in. Not always.
Not always.
But quite often people do become their parents because that's all they know. And it's like we're talking about, you know, thinking that dysfunction is love.
Right. Some people do believe that. Yes.
Yeah. So,
but that's all they know.
That's all they know. All they know.
Yes.
I used to date a woman. She was not happy unless we fought.
Because that's what she knew. That's all she knew. She thought that was love.
Yes.
So if you weren't upset about something, then
that was a problem.
That was a problem.
She actually told me that when she couldn't get me to fight with her, she couldn't sleep at night. But if I fought with her, she would sleep good at night.
Because she felt loved.
Yes.
If you were able to show emotion enough, then that meant you cared.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd sleep. She's like, yeah, I sleep good at night if we fight.
Wow.
So
wow.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Wow. Okay.
Well, that's not what you got with me.
Absolutely not. But that's the other good thing about me being with you. You are so kind and peaceful that you don't allow me to get back to the way I used to be because I follow your example.
Well, but I think we both strive and thrive on having a drama-free life.
Absolutely.
I don't
but it
thrive
makes
under drama.
but
I don't.
yeah, but it makes it a lot easier when you're with a person that's just not their makeup. That's not the person they are. So again, I do follow your lead when it comes to, being calm and discussing things and all of that. So I follow your lead. So it keeps me on track, which is a good thing.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Because,
But I had to learn that myself because before you, I tend to be with men who did, maybe they didn't thrive on drama, but they didn't mind it. They certainly didn't mind it, but I did. I'm like, why do we have to go through this? Can't we just have a pleasant day, And so I had to learn that for myself, that I really didn't like drama.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't.
Cool. Good. I don't like drama either. I don't like drama. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what else can we tell our listeners about not repeating the same mistakes?
Well,
because it is easier said than done.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. A lot of us repeat our mistakes, but we don't realize we're repeating our mistakes.
Right. We don't even realize it is a mistake.
Right. So the first thing is to identify what your mistakes are, the things that you do over and over again that kind of sabotages your life.
Yes.
And change those.
Yes.
And again,
like I had to learn this year, like, oh my gosh, I am such a procrastinator. That is not getting me anywhere.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Jill.
What?
You say that this is breaking news. Breaking news. So you are trying to tell me that you did not realize you were a procrastinator until this year?
That's correct. I thought
that's a bunch of hooey.
No. I thought that I thrived under deadline pressure. I did. Because that I used to have to do that, right? But then this year I was like, wait a minute. I'm not a journalist anymore. I don't often have real deadlines, just self-imposed ones. So, but now that I, with the projects I have a lot of projects going on right now.
Yes.
And they do have deadlines.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I procrastinating? So I got it.
So why do you procrastinate?
Because I thrive under deadline pressure.
But
don't you see?
I don't. You really.
I don't anymore.
But you really don't.
I don't anymore. I used to.
Yeah, but even then, you convinced yourself that you thrive under deadline.
But I did. I was very good at doing things under deadline pressure.
Yes, but what did it cause? Even though you can thrive under those conditions, what did it cause? Did it cause anxiety? Did it cause health issues? Did it cause? Probably.
I believe my health issues came because of people, not because of what I was doing. It was the people. People stress me out. Stress me the heck out.
Yeah, but that's all gets back to us having control of ourselves.
Right. And I realized I do have control of my how I spend my time.
A person can't stress you out unless you allow them to stress you out.
Oh, some of them are like bees that are all around you, and that stresses the heck out of me.
Again, my statement.
It's like swat it.
My statement is the same.
Well, that's true. I did end up swatting it.
Yes.
Kill that bee.
Yeah. Kill that bee. Jill, I'm sorry, but you knew you were a procrastinator.
No, I really didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
That is not the word I called myself.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, Jill. It's the reason I pay the bills.
No, that is not why you pay the bills. You're better at it.
Yeah, because
it's not procrastination.
Because I look at the bills and I pay them. You look at the bills and say, later. Not that you didn't have the money. That's procrastination. You had the money to pay the bills. You just didn't pay the bills because you didn't want to cry later. Later, I'll do it later. That's procrastination.
I don't know.
That's procrastination.
I just didn't want to do the bills.
They say true procrastination.
I didn't like paying the bills.
I don't like to pay the bills either. But true procrastination is when your procrastination affects your life. So if your procrastination keeps you from paying your bills on time, and that's the only reason, that affects your life. Okay. Then there's bill collectors calling and all that, and you have the money, so that's a clear case of procrastination. And, I also procrastinate about things I need to do, but never are they things that affect my life.
Okay. Let's get to our second segment that we call
Give It a Rest and a Resolution.
So your conclusion?
Well, my conclusion is identify your mistakes and change them.
And my conclusion is we are all humans. We all make mistakes. But the key is to recognize it and learn from it. That's how you can change it. All right, let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Advice?
Yes. It goes along with what I just said a little while ago, which is if you're a person that makes the same mistakes all over and over and over again, and you can't seem to solve it, you may have to enlist some help, whether it's a therapist or maybe it's a close friend, or even a family member. So in my case, I was always picking the wrong women. So I said, well, the next time I'm going to involve my family because they have my best interest at heart. So if you can't do it on your own, change your mistakes, seek some help.
Yes, I would agree with that, because most of the time we can't make major changes like that on our own. But if you do enlist the help, listen to it. Listen to them.
Listen to the help. Yes. Because if you don't listen to the help, you're going to stay in the cycle. But you're the type of person that embraces that drama or that misery or whatever it is. That's your comfort zone. So, but you really don't want to be in that spot.
Right. It's time for our last segment that we call
So, what do you think? What do you think?
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
We want to hear from you, listeners.
We do. We always love hearing from our listeners.
The number is
404-594-2247.
Yes. And again, you don't have to just comment on this episode. You can comment on anything or ask us a question or give us an idea for it. Something you'd like for us to discuss. We always appreciate that.
Yes. And if you would like to have a Zoom meeting, a Zoom call with us, just set that up and let us know and we can get it all set up.
Okay. So shout outs to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Zinke for the art, and to you two listeners. You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
And that's it. See, I finally got it together. I stopped making mistakes about the segments.
It's a wrap. You didn't repeat your mistakes through the whole episode.
Through the whole thing.
Excellent.
Yay. Okay, bye.
All right. Bye-bye.